Hey there, this is Michael. Came up with this concept of makes and breaks, kind of a play on words, right? I really enjoy tinkering on stuff. I have a lot of projects that I'm always working on. I also like cars, vehicles, transportation methods in general. And I have a tendency to break a lot of shit as well. So I kind of like the idea of the interplay makes and breaks, makes of vehicles, brakes could be stopping, brakes could be braking. So yeah, I thought it was kind of fitting for what I'm looking to do. So first video, first and foremost, apologize if anything about this is totally crappy. I'm running off of a microphone off the top of the camera that's probably a little weird sounding in here. Probably need to do a lav mic. I've got just general garage lighting. The camera's literally on the case for a pop-up tent because I left my tripod at the office. So all of these things not exactly optimal. But for the first video today, I kind of want to introduce everybody to my bike, the Triumph Trident 660. It's a 2022. I've had it for a few months now. Done some stuff to it already, pretty minor stuff, but I have collected a whole bunch of parts and things over the last couple of weeks that are more just kind of little accessory add-ons I needed to get. So I've got a phone mount for the bike here. I've got a rock guard for the radiator. A couple other things. I also picked up a chin mount for my helmet for a GoPro. So I'm thinking we kind of walk through getting all those things up and installed on the bike and on the helmet. And then maybe we'll wrap this video up with a quick test run using the helmet mount on the GoPro. See if we can get that dialed in as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. Thanks for watching, and let's get started.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up!
Alright, so let's run through a couple of things that we've already done. Number one, a few of them are connected up here at the top. So we've got the CRG 3-inch lane splitter bar end mirrors. So in this case, I have installed these with kind of a drop position. I don't think that's technically okay as far as the law is concerned, but I think it looks way better on this bike. Also got some Evotech breakaway levers on both sides that are adjustable. So the stock ones, it was adjustable, I think, on the brake, but not the clutch, if I'm remembering right. So we wanted to get that done. And then additionally, I've done the rear peg delete. So we've got those down here, again, Evotech parts, blocking that off. And then the other major thing I've done so far is the sliders. So we've got sliders on the frame here. We've got some sliders on the axles as well. So if we punch in there. I also have some paddock stands that I would probably be installing here in a minute that are going to go on the back. And then, again, there's another slider up there on the front, and all Evotech stuff again. I ended up really liking the quality. I think I bought the levers first, and once I put them on, I'm like, damn, this is nice. And I realized they had all these other pieces. So speaking of other pieces, let's go ahead and jump over and take a look at what else I've got that I'm going to be installing here today. Okay, so first we've got a Dart windscreen. Went for the really blacked out version. There is a little bit of transparency if you're actually staring through it, but from here it just looks like it's completely blacked out. Okay, in addition to the Dart windscreen, we've also got an Evotech radiator kind of rock guard. Obviously the logo there down at the bottom, and then should mount up pretty quickly, I think, using the standard mounting locations on the bike. So one more piece, quick one, the Evotech paddock stands, or bobbins for the paddock stands, that'll go on the rear. All right, and then in addition, we've got a QuadLock setup. So this actually mounts to kind of the bar mount area on the front of or on the top of the bike. Came with the blue release there by default, but the bike basically is either black, gray, or red. So I grabbed a red one to swap in. We've got the anti-vibration attachment, all the parts to kind of attach it to the bike by default, and then my universal adapter for my phone case that I have currently. And then last but not least, last bit is a chin mount from ChinMounts. I have an RF 1400 by Shoei, and this is basically perfect fit to go right on the front of that, on the chin section of the helmet. And then they give you a few GoPro type mounts of differing sizes to try to get something that you like, and prefer for your position that you're going to want your camera set up at. So I'm excited to get that on the helmet as well, and try out the chin mount for some street recording. So let's go ahead and jump into starting to install this stuff. Okay, so we've switched over to the GoPro, so hopefully this isn't too jarring. Again, I'm just kind of learning as I go here, but I've got my Dart windscreen. We're going to do that first. I've got we're just kind of hanging out on the floor in the garage now. So there's our mounting arms, there's our windscreen, the instructions, which actually are bike specific, which is pretty cool. I always appreciate that kind of stuff. And then I like to kind of set out whatever came out of the little baggie in most cases, so that I know what the hell I'm dealing with when it comes to parts. So we've got the parts there, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of try to put together the initial bits of this, which essentially is getting all those grommets and things kind of primed into there, and then we'll see if we can get this mounted up to the stock locations and go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and start that now. Probably in the future what I'll try to do is set this up to do like time lapses and stuff when I work on certain things, especially as we get deeper into maybe bigger projects. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and cut to the next kind of stage of this that seems significant, probably once I've got the arms on and the windscreen or the fly screen actually ready to mount up. Okay, so I thought I'd show this on the screen because it's kind of ridiculously tedious. So in this up here, if you'll notice, there's this guy right here. So it's a little 5mm screw way up in the fork area with all the wiring. There's actually 2 of these tucked way up here on both sides, and I have to loosen and get those out because that's going to be the mounting points for the bracket for that windscreen. A little tougher than expected. All right, well, I assume you can see the sheen of sweat on my head. Ignore how much of a disaster our garage is. I think that took like 45 minutes to get one bracket mounted. One bracket. Just a bracket. Just that. I really hope the second one's easier. Okay, so second one was indeed easier. Still took a little while. I mean, it's just the fact that you're working all up in there where you've got all the wiring looms and everything else. It's just, and you can't really see when you're trying to screw it back in. And I think that was the toughest part. Getting the screws out, the originals, was easy. Putting in the new ones where you really didn't know what angle you were putting the screw in at for the hole, that was pretty tough. So you just sit there fiddling with it until it finally caught. But other than that, so that's on now. So now I'm going to go ahead and look at mounting the actual fly screen, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so actually mounting with once the brackets was on was super easy. There's the fly screen, and from this side, just barely up and over the edge of the instrument panel there. So I think that looks really good, kind of fits the styling of the bike. I didn't want one that was too huge or not blacked out to kind of go with the general theme of the motorcycle itself, and I think that that works out really great. So now let's move on to probably the paddock stands. Okay, so quick note here, a little bit of a bummer. These paddock stands, and in fact also the bolts where I'm gonna have to remove this to put on the radiator guard, the rock guard, they're all a looks like a Torx bit that is larger than my largest Torx bit I have on hand. So I'm actually probably going to take like 15 minutes to run down to the store and just buy a bigger set of hex, of Torx bits, so that I can actually continue the work that I'm trying to do. So, sometimes that happens. I usually have most of the tools I need. I just haven't run into these larger Torx bits before, or bolts. So we'll knock that out real quick. Flash forward, energy, and I just said screw it and got a whole set of these bad boys, so I shouldn't have to worry about that again. So next, let's do these paddock stands, and then we will move on to the rock guard. So I'm gonna probably just knock out the paddock stands in 2 seconds and show you what they look like. So there we are, paddock stand in place. It's identical on the other side. Once I had the right tool, this bolt there came out in a heartbeat, and then it's just a hex to put the new ones on. So that was super easy, but I dig that, you know, we got Evotech, you know, everything's kind of jiving as far as looks and stuff. I like that they're blacked out, not something other, you know, flashy. I don't want it to stand out. And now I can, you know, paddock stand the bike when I'm working on stuff or just storing it or whatever. So pretty cool. All right, moving on to the rock guard. Okay, so first step on this grill guard for the radiator was taking off these colored pieces on the side. So we've just got that popped off. I'm always a little sketchy working with the painted pieces because I don't want to scratch them, but those are pulled off on both sides. So now we lost actually a lot of the color splash on this side of this bike. There's actually, so I'll be curious, you guys tell me what you think. They make pieces that go on this spot here that was red. They make them in carbon fiber. And so I could put carbon there and then maybe peel the red off of the front fender there. They actually make carbon replacements for that fender too, so technically I could go that route and really get rid of most of the red on the bike. I kind of like the splashes of red, but you guys tell me what you think. So next up, I think I just have to put some rubber grommet thingies on the rock guard to stop for vibration noises, and then basically just screw it back in using the stock screws and put those colored plates back on. So I'll just knock that out and then we'll take a look at what it looks like afterwards. And there we are. So we got that mounted up. I mean, granted, in this video you don't see it a ton because it's just a black piece, but I definitely like it better than just the raw radiator look. And now, especially with that fly screen and everything else going on. But definitely let me know what you think about the red, because we certainly could go carbon fiber. It's actually not even that expensive. Both pieces, fender and these big red ones here replaced, would be like 300 bucks or maybe 400 for everything. So just curious. I kind of dig the red. There's like little bits of red, you know, in various places on the bike. But curious what y'all think. Okay, and last but not least today, for the bike installs, and then we'll do that chin mount and go for a little test ride, is actually installing the QuadLock system that's meant to mount here and allow me to have my phone pretty much right down here. With that, I believe it shouldn't obstruct my gauge cluster, and it'll give me my phone without hitting anything as I turn and stuff as well. So I'm going to go ahead, again, this is one where I think it's pretty straightforward. I just pull these bolts, put in the new units that connect a piece there, and then get the QuadLock thing attached. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, so QuadLock thing indeed was really simple. So we just pulled these stock bolts out, replaced them with the aftermarket longer ones to support lifting this thing up. Then this whole piece was the kit that I bought. This guy is an anti-vibration mount that is kind of an add-on for the whole thing, which will help keep the screen nice and stable. And then I swapped out the original blue release for the red one to kind of go with the red accents on the bike. And then for those of you that don't actually know what a QuadLock is, so it's just a system that allows you to, like, you attach a universal mount, or you buy one of their cases for like your phone, and then this just clicks on, so you like set it down and kind of press and click, and you can lock it in place in landscape or portrait, and then you use this to like loosen and turn to release. So it's a really easy way to mount your phone to stuff. Like, they make stuff for cars, they make stuff for motorcycles, bicycles, whatever, basically. And you can just put the units on all your stuff, and then if you have the thing on your phone, you can click it in place anywhere you go. So I'll go stick the universal mount on my phone now, and then I'll show you a little quick example. Okay, and here's the example. So I've mounted the thing to my phone. I'll show you releasing it in just a second. But now I've got the capability of like using my phone here. I could have my music controls up or navigation screen or whatever, but I still have full access to view my my dash. So like in my seated position, I would be able to see both of these just fine. And then when I want to take my phone off, I just push this down and rotate, and it comes right off. And so there's the mount on the phone. So I just stuck it to my case. I've got a Kevlar case. Just stuck it on there. And now anytime I want to put it on, it's a little weird to do one-handed. It's really weird to do one-handed. Wow. Okay. Anyway, I just click it on with two hands probably. All right, so last thing is the chin mount to go on my helmet. But one of the things I just realized when I was reading the information for the installation is that they recommend that I not put the camera that's in my hand right now on the mount for 24 hours roughly. So likely not a good idea for me to try to do the riding footage as soon as I mount it, because my camera could fall off and that would suck. So I'm gonna mount it now and then I guess we'll just have to save like the first set of riding footage after doing this work for the next time I put a video together. So maybe next time will be riding footage as a test run and do a little moto vlog attempt, depending on, I think microphone is gonna be my biggest hurdle when it comes to the moto vlogging thing. So I might actually try to pick up like a lapel mic or a lav mic between now and when I do that. So, but for now, I'm gonna mount this up. I don't really think there's anything worth showing. I just have to like clean it with alcohol, hit the thing with a hair dryer to warm it up a little bit and stick it on. That's it. So we'll probably just call it there. But before, you know, I'm gonna wrap up this clip and then I'll do another quick follow-up video kind of looking at the bike now that we've done the stuff we did today. And then I'll look at trying to get a riding video as the thing we do next. And then I also have my first service coming up for the bike, and I have an exhaust coming as well. I'm not going to install the exhaust myself. I'm just having them do it when they do the service. But we'll get probably an after video for that. And then I have a whole ton of stuff for the Jeep Cherokee, as well as the bike, that I'm hoping to just kind of keep whittling on throughout like maybe the winter time. So that'll probably be the stuff we focus on for some videos, but hopefully this has been enjoyable. I know it was just kind of running straight through the stuff without like time-lapse shots and stuff. So next time I'll probably try to figure out a little bit more of that, maybe play with the cameras and get it dialed in. But yeah, hopefully this was enjoyable, and we'll wrap up with a quick kind of walk around of the bike as it looks now that we've done a couple more things. All right, so let's take a quick walkthrough around the stuff we did today. So we got our Dart fly screen mounted, tinted out. Looks really good with the bike. I'm actually really happy with how that turned out. I think it jives with the look without standing out too much, because I liked that this was a naked bike, but that little bit I've heard actually makes a really big impact on wind for the chest area, and I think it does still work really good looks wise. And then we got our Evotech rock guard for the radiator mounted up. Doesn't stand out too much or anything crazy, but it looks nice, kind of ties things together. And it's way better looking than just the default radiator. We got our QuadLock set up there, which is going to be super handy now for controlling music or nav when I'm on the road, especially for longer rides or something. And then last but not least, really straightforward, but we got our paddock stand mounted up. So we got our paddock stands on both sides. Paddock stand is on the right, that guy right there. That guy's a frame slider. So that's if I crash. That one's so that I can put this on a paddock stand for either maintenance or storage. So coming soon, that exhaust goes bye-bye. We've got a Yoshimura AT2 coming. It's a full system, which will be really awesome. And then after that, we'll see where we go. So thanks again for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've really enjoyed the process so far, putting this together. Now I get to go edit all this crap, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, hope to get another one out here soon, especially if we can get a riding video put together. So thanks again. We'll talk to you soon.